Okay, I'm here with Derby Telegraph Chief Football Writer Steve Nicholson. Steve, Derby County back in action on Sunday. What can you tell us about the Rams team news?
Yeah, it seems to have been a long time since the Brentford game. Obviously a 2-week international break, and Derby of course playing Sunday, as you say. Team news, well, if fans remember, against Brentford in the second half, Jason Shackle had to go off. He had a bit of discomfort in his back, and Bradley Johnson, I think, got a dead leg as well, and he had to go off. Both of them are fine. Both of them will be fit to face Wolves, so that's good news. And on other injury news, Craig Bryson and Jake Buxton are back in training. They've been out. Craig Bryson's been out since the first game of the season. He picked up a nasty knee ligament injury at Bolton, and it's taken longer than we expected. He's tried to come back once or twice and suffered setbacks, but now he's back in training, and Paul Clement tells me today that he's looking good. Jake Buxton had back surgery at the end of March. He's not featured since. He had an under-21 game earlier this season, played for 90 minutes. Again, had a bit of a setback, probably too much too soon that was. So they're again having to be careful with both of them, but it's good news that they're back in training. As far as the team news goes for Wolves, then I can't really see any reason why they wouldn't be unchanged from the Brentford game. That was tagged as Derby's best performance of the season so far. Hendrick came in for Butterfield in that game, and the midfield looked better balanced straight away, with Hendrick and Johnson being able to push on from midfield, leaving George Thorne as a holding midfield player. So that worked well. So I would expect them to be unchanged.
And it's an intriguing game on Sunday. Derby in good form, they've had a good run of results. Wolves have too.
Yeah, it is interesting. I mean, what will be very interesting for me is to see how Wolves approach the game, because if you remember almost a year ago, they came here and they were going well at the time, as were Derby. And Derby won the game 5-0. Very convincing. At 1-0, Wolves had a very good chance to make it 1-1. They didn't take it, but from then on, Derby really took control. They were 3-0 up at half time. They were 5-0 up after an hour. So it was arguably one of their best performances of the season. So I'll be interested to see how Wolves set up. I'll be interested to see whether they have a go at Derby, if you like. That might play into Derby's hands, or whether they'll go down the route we've seen from Charlton this season at the iPro, Burnley and Middlesbrough. Get men behind the ball, pack their half of the pitch, make it difficult for Derby to find the spaces to get in and around them, or in and behind Wolves' defence. So that will be intriguing. But yeah, they're on good form. 2 3-0 wins in the last 2 games. Derby unbeaten in 5, 4 wins and a draw, 13 points from 15. The key for Derby after the international break is to keep the momentum going. Paul Clement today has talked about a points tally that is set the team from the next 6 games. He wants to better 13 points from the next 6 games. And I say it's a hectic schedule, 6 games in less than 3 weeks. But I say it should be an interesting game on Sunday. But again, I'll be fascinated to see how Wolves go into it.
And there's an interesting anniversary for Derby County next week. And today, Steve, you've been talking to a former Rams striker who was involved in the occasion.
Yeah, I spoke to Charlie George this morning. I met Charlie, I think, a couple of years ago when he came up to Derby for an event. I met him, interviewed him at the Jury's Inn. Great character. You know, what a player he was. You know, fantastic. We all remember the goal he scored for Arsenal against Liverpool in the FA Cup final. And of course, next week, next Thursday, is the 40th anniversary of Derby County demolishing Real Madrid here at the baseball ground 4-1 in the European Cup, the first leg of that tie. Fantastic night. Those who were there were lucky enough to say they were there. It was arguably one of the greatest nights at the scene at the baseball grounds. So while I'll be revisiting that match, looking at the match report, looking at what was said, revisiting it through the eyes of the people involved, and one of them was Charlie George, who scored a hat-trick. So, you know, Rams fans should look out for that. Hopefully it'll be a good read.